Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Security forces in Jamaica get special powers to battle crime in the island's capital. That's our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Wednesday, October 18. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Nicole Best. Good evening. Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew Holness has named an area in the country's capital as the second zone of special operation in which security forces will be granted special powers as they try to arrest spiraling crime. The designation for Denham Town in West Kingston took effect on Tuesday and will remain in force for 60 days in the first instance. The first zone was declared in Mount Salem, St. James at the beginning of last month. The justifications given for Denham Town being declared as the second zone of special operations were ongoing gang warfare, rampant criminality and escalating violence and murders, among others. Andrea Chisholm of TVJ News has more.
Denham Town in West Kingston has met the first order criteria for the National Security Council.
Ongoing gang warfare, rampant criminality, escalating violence and murder, and a threat to rule of law.
There are 12 known gangs operating in Denham Town. Since 2015, there has been gang conflict between the Tivoli Gardens / Young Generation gang and the Denham Town Coalition as a result of the coalition refusal to conform with the Coke's family regime.
He says the gangs participate in extortion, armed robberies and contract killings, using the proceeds to strengthen their activities. And there are statistics to back up the decision. In relation to murders, Police Commissioner George Coelho says in 2014 there were 9 incidents and 10 victims. So far in 2017, 17 incidents and 17 victims. For shootings, there were 31 incidents and 50 victims in 2014. And so far this year, 26 incidents and 53 victims. Now, when Mount Salem St. James was declared as the first ZOSO, residents disputed the statistics, leading to a revision. On this occasion, however,
I am confident in the stats presented.
Meanwhile, with constant complaints of police brutality, the Prime Minister is assuring the public that all members of the joint force have received training in human rights. Senior Superintendent Everald Linton and Lieutenant Colonel Murphy Price are in charge.
Residents can expect to encounter checkpoints, cordon and searches, curfews, targeted operations, and residents should be prepared to provide identification.
Those without identification will be left to the discretion of the security forces. As for the social intervention component of ZOSO, another announcement is expected in the next 5 days.
Meantime, St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves is pledging government support for police officers who use reasonable force when confronting gunmen. The comments came amidst increased calls by residents for authorities to do something about fatal shootings that have escalated recently. Last weekend, 9 people were injured as 3 gunmen fired about 40 shots indiscriminately at patrons in a shop. Gonsalves, who is also National Security Minister, said the crime problem is primarily caused by young male, although females are involved in a few instances.
I want to give the assurance to the public that this Prime Minister takes the issue of security, citizen security, very seriously. And that we're strengthening a lot of operations in the police force. lot of intensified tactical work being done. I'm not going to speak about what is being done within particular strategic frameworks.
Gonzalez said his government is giving police the wherewithal to do their job.
But I say again to the police officers who are on the front line, when you are confronted or when you are face to face, or when you're involved in doing your job and you meet gunmen who want to do you harm or you apprehend harm, or persons with implements of violence, you are not obliged to recite the Beatitudes. And your first option is not flight. You are entitled to repel the source of the threat. Reasonably.
The building code in the Bahamas is being reviewed as efforts are made to improve construction standards in the country, particularly in coastal areas. And as we hear in this ZNS Network News report, the president of the Bahamian Contractors Association has welcomed the review.
There appears to be an increase in the frequency and intensity of major hurricanes hitting the Bahamas in recent years. President of the Bahamian Contractors Association, Leonard Sands, is welcoming plans by Minister of Public Works, the Honorable Desmond Bannister, to conduct a review of the country's building code.
I think the minister mentioned that there needs to be a consideration for at least information to architects and engineers about Title C historical data, Title C levels, whether this area is prone to flooding or not. That information should be readily available.
Sands says the guidelines are already in the Bahamas' building code, but says greater enforcement is necessary to help the country to avoid much of the devastation that occurred in the southern Bahamas during 2 recent storms.
The code itself is extremely good. It stands among the best inside our region, but again, we fail with enforcement. And it's the lack of personnel to enforce the code. At any one time, you could go to the Ministry of Works, and they could tell you we have hundreds of permits being reviewed. That's a lot, hundreds of permits, but you don't have hundreds of personnel.
The association's president says he also approves of plans to go after persons who build without going through the proper channels. That ultimately hurts the industry. He says if the minister is serious about compliance, the Ministry of Works will require more compliance officers.
It has to happen that way, because one guy can't take it this entire island. You may need just 2 or 3 guys to deal with the compliance according to the Building Act, just in Southwest New Province, then another 3 guys for the West, then another couple of guys for the East. This is a small island, but the density of construction makes it a lot of things you may have to do in one day.
He says the construction industry contributes $1.5 to $2 billion to the economy annually, so he is all for regulation to the sector's betterment.
The devastation that Hurricane Maria caused to Dominica last month has resulted in the cancellation of the famous World Creole Music Festival. The 20th edition of the festival was supposed to be held from October 27th to 29th and was going to feature local and regional artists, including Haiti's former President Michel Martelly. Martelly performs under the stage name Sweet Mickey. But Dominica's Tourism Minister Robert Tong said that on Wednesday, the festival had to be called off.
Staging of the World Creole Music Festival will not be possible due to the damage of room stock for artists and patrons, as well as the damage to the Windsor Park Stadium. So all the artists will be informed. I think they've been informed already, but it will be officially done. With regards to tickets, we are asking persons to donate the funds to a worthy cause if you can. There are many persons in Dominica, as you walk around, as you move around, who have no homes, who have no jobs, especially as some persons have laid off. So we're hoping that some persons will take it upon themselves to donate some of those funds to a particular charity.
Minister Tong also announced that Barbados and Antigua would be staging relief concerts on October 29th to help countries battered by not only Maria but hurricanes Irma and Jose. Staying in Dominica, the International Red Cross has launched a global appeal for $5.6 million to help it carry out its hurricane relief activities in the island. Red Cross America's Regional Director Walter Cotter-Whittingham made the disclosure at Wednesday's press conference.
The effect of having not enough money for the appeal is because Dominica is experiencing the competition with other emergencies that we have in the region. It's for that reason that we are calling for collective responsibility of our region, different leaders, different actors, corporate sector, and government that could help Dominica. You have a space to help through our appeal, through other plans that Dominica has by the government, through the appeal of UN. We have a lot of possibilities to help Dominica in order with one plan, one master plan, that is the 12-point plan from the government.
Whittingham said the Red Cross would maintain its presence in the island, noting Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit's recent announcement that the organization would be taking over the distribution of relief material to communities island-wide. Still to come in Caribbean Newsline, Grenada's public sector workers end their strike. Stay with us. There's more news after the break.
Welcome to the gem of the Caribbean, Antigua and Barbuda.
A warm welcome awaits you at our state-of-the-art VC Bird International Airport.
I must say that Antigua is in wonderful shape. 5 minutes off the boat and we're already in paradise.
Antigua was not that damaged by the storm as much as Barbuda was. The hotels are still open, the beaches are still clean, and the people are still friendly.
With Antigua, it's the people that really await you.
Hurricane Irma may have hit a little bit, but you can't even tell that it was ever here. The beach is wonderful. I'm having a great time.
Everything is just as we remember. No storm damage.
We're here and we're open.
And we're better than ever.
I do a lot of destination weddings, and I see weddings that could happen here, and they would be in love with it.
I can't say enough about how in love with Antigua I am.
It is one nation, two islands, and I'm loving it.
Do you want a real Barbadian experience with peace and tranquility? A home away from home feeling? Come and stay at Best E Villas. We offer 2 amazing locations to choose from, Prospect St. James or Christchurch. Plan a staycation for your anniversary, birthdays, summer or winter breaks, or any special event. Best E Villas is located in close proximity to our lovely beaches. Call us now at 246-425-9751 or visit us at bestevillas.com and make your booking for the best in villas.
You know, I got my brand new single on my record label Taracon and Sony Ultra right now called Slow Motion. It's doing pretty well. And
what's pretty well? You sound modest. That's what that sound like.
It's good. It's doing great. I mean, I don't want to be like, you know, I'm not the show self type. I'm very like, you know what I mean? All right. Try to keep it humble and smooth, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right, so what are your plans?
Well, you know, right now we're going into a new year.
Public workers in Grenada were back on the job on Wednesday after 2 days of industrial action. They stayed off the job on Monday and Tuesday, protesting government's refusal to meet their demands for an additional $1,500 one-off payment in lieu of salary increases between the years 2013 and 2016, while the country was under a homegrown IMF-backed structural adjustment program. Public Relations Officer with the Public Workers Union, Brian Grimes, says the 2-day protest was successful, adding that 75% of workers stayed off the job, but he says the industrial action is far from over.
No, it is on our end. We have received the baton from the workers now as the executive to take the struggle forward. We will go back to the drawing board and plan and tell the public officers when the time arises for action once again. Rest assured, public officers can rest assured the joint negotiating team of PW and TAU will never sign to an agreement for the structural adjustment period for a figure of $650. That is a word and a conviction that they can take to their graves.
Grenada's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell has confirmed the discovery of natural gas in the island's territorial waters. The government had earlier indicated that an oil exploration license was issued to Global Petroleum Group, and in May, notice that dredging had begun was published in local newspapers. On Tuesday, Mitchell confirmed a discovery was made, but said it was too soon to tell whether the quality or the quantity were enough to become a viable economic venture.
Some findings have been are now being tested for the quality and quantity. So I'm cautiously optimistic, but in life you don't come, you're chicken before you know what. So all of us should pray as much as possible that Grenada finds sufficient gas and sufficient oil. And that would mean the betterment for all Grenadians as a whole.
In June, both houses of Parliament approved the Hydrocarbon Exploration Incentive Bill 2017. That legislation outlines a package of incentives for oil and gas exploration companies. Montserrat is accusing the United Kingdom government of reneging on its commitment to providing development aid to the British Overseas Territory. The allegation follows a senior British official indicating that London would not now be funding a multi-million-dollar fibre optic project for the island. Speaking to reporters following the visit of the UK's Department for International Development, Deputy Head of Overseas Territories Department, Chabrakti, that's Montserrat's Premier Donaldson Romeo, said the fibre optic project had been worked on for at about 7 years. He said officers from the Department for International Development had developed the final business case for the project, working alongside the government.
The business case shows that the fibre optic cable is a crucial step to help grow our economy, to create business opportunities, to better deal with health and other government services, and more. It is also a key resiliency move to protect our communications if there is a hurricane. We all know that too well. The business case argued that DFID should fund 97% of the cost. That is £4.84 million. Montserrat has already spent another £100,000 to bring this project to this stage.
Romeo said the business case was approved in July 2016 and went through the pre-qualification stage for procurement the following month. He said the pre-qualification responses were evaluated in September last year and there has been no action since. What's more, the Premier said Montserrat has now been asked to find co-financing for the project, but his government is fighting that.
The fact that we're being asked now to go to whether borrow money or seek new partners, when that very business case made the point that they had already researched and found that that was not the route to go, that it would not be successful going out to the market. We are now having to reaffirm before the people of Montserrat that the government of Montserrat's position will be to seek to influence Her Majesty's government to stick to the policies that have been agreed and that make good sense for the people of Montserrat.
And ahead in Newsline Sport, former West Indies wicketkeeper Dennis Ramdin to lead Trinidad and Tobago Red Force in the Professional Cricket League. Stay with us. Sport is around the corner.
In a place where legends start, the beach is just the beginning. So live a little for the exhilaration and the colour of every moment, where time is and life is a spirited event. Immerse yourself in the culture, the music, the people, the island. Love Antigua and Barbuda. Embrace an experience that leaves you breathless, from cricket to sailing week to carnival and more. Antigua and Barbuda, the beach is just the beginning.
Do you want a real Barbadian experience with peace and tranquility? A home away from home feeling? Come and stay at Best E Villas. We offer 2 amazing locations to choose from, Prospect St. James or Christchurch. Plan a staycation for your anniversary, birthdays, summer or winter breaks, or any special event. Best E Villas is located in close proximity to our lovely beaches. Call us now at 246-425-9751. or visit us at bestevillas.com and make your booking for the best in villas.
CSME is an effort by CARICOM member states to put in place a common market, a common economic space, and a common economy. It is really being done in two stages. First, the common market, and the common economy is expected to come later.
Former West Indies wicketkeeper Dennis Ramden will lead his native Trinidad and Tobago Red Force in the Professional Cricket League, which bowls off on October 26. According to the Guardian newspaper, the 32-year-old will replace all-rounder Marlon Richards, who led the side for the last two rounds of the last first-class season after regular captain Kyle Hope became unavailable. Hope is currently away on West Indies duty for the two-test tour of Zimbabwe. Ramden, who led West Indies in 13 tests between 2014 and 2015, is vastly experienced and has led TNT in the past. A veteran of 74 tests, he has also played 140 first-class matches, and his presence is being viewed by selectors as a boost for a Red Force side that is short on experience. Ramden represented West Indies in tests up until last year, January, before being axed months later ahead of India's tour of the Caribbean. Red Force will have a tough start to their campaign when they take on perennial arch rivals Barbados Pride at Kensington Oval. And Barbados Pride is looking forward to their clash with their arch rivals TNT, although much of their preparation has been curtailed by persistent downpours. But the rain has not been Barbados' only setback. The side would also be going into the tournament without most of its senior players, as they are in Zimbabwe on regional duty. But speaking to CBC Sport, Barbados Pride head coach Emerson Trotman was confident the boys would be ready on match day.
I've got no control of the weather, but the boys have been working hard for quite a long period of time now. So the guys are very focused. So we are aware of the fact that the weather has given us a hard break. But we've got to be proactive and get going. I've been missing about 9 or 10 players, but I've got lots of talent around, so I'm quite confident the boys, will put it together. I've got good players like, Anthony Allen, and I've got also Mosey, who's in good form. So I think those guys, came to start with good experience. So I'm quite confident that the boys will perform.
While the Bajans are aware of TNT's prowess in regional cricket, Trotman believes the Barbados Pride players will think quickly on their feet.
Against Trinidad, we're just trying to get the guys in top shape as far as the batting is concerned, because obviously, the batting will really be a key, and, the bowlers are looking good, obviously you've got to get 20 wickets to win a game, so, I'm quite confident that they're doing well, and the Brian, all the boys have been doing very well with the bowlers and so on, so the guys have got to try and adjust and adapt quickly. I mean, if they want to be professionals going forward, whatever pitch you get, you've got to try and adjust quickly. So it's just being smart.
And over to women's cricket, Brittany Cooper is set to make her return to the international stage when West Indies women face Sri Lanka women in 3 T20 internationals this week in Antigua. Cricket West Indies on Tuesday announced a 13-member squad for the matches at the Coolidge Cricket Ground, bringing Cooper in to replace her compatriot Renice Boyce. The series comes on the heels of the Windies women sweeping the 3 ICC Women's Championship matches against the Sri Lankans, which were played over the last week at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy in South Trinidad. In easily her most memorable performance, the 28-year-old hit 61 from 48 balls in the semi-final of the Women's World T20 against New Zealand women last March in India to give the Windies women their first win in a semi-final of that tournament, setting up a mouth-watering final with Australia women, which they won. Cooper has appeared in 49 T20s since making her debut 7 years ago and has managed a paltry 379 runs at an average of 10.82, with that World Cup semi-final innings being her only score over 50. And meanwhile, Captain Stephanie Taylor remains concerned about her side's batting despite the convincing clean sweep of last week's three-match one-day international series against the Sri Lanka women. West Indies picked up all 6 ICC Women's Championship points on offer at the series at the Brian Lara Stadium in Trinidad to make a bright start to their 2021 World Cup qualifying campaign. They chased down modest targets to win the first 2 matches but could only muster 182 for 8 or 48 overs on the only occasion they batted first. Taylor said they are still not satisfied with the totals they've put up on the board. She says the small totals were a major issue in this year's Women's World Cup. And with the new cycle of ICC Women's Championship underway, Taylor said it had been important to make a winning start in order to inject confidence into the squad, especially with tougher assignments ahead. West Indies take on Sri Lanka women in the opening T20 internationals of the 3-match series at Coolidge Cricket Ground on Thursday. Moving over now to football, Bermuda will be looking to prove that rankings are just numbers when they face Barbados in a friendly international on October 28th. The Barbadians are ranked 9th in the Caribbean Football Union, 160th in the world, and Bermuda were ranked 18th. That's 181st in the world. Bermuda's overseas-based trio of Bascom, Roger Lee and Hill have been confirmed for the match. The Barbados squad will include semi-professional and college players who are based in the United States. Bermuda and Barbados have each won twice in their 5 previous meetings. Bermuda won 3-0 when Barbados last visited the island nearly a decade ago. The 2 countries are scheduled to face off in the Caribbean next year as part of a home and away arrangement. And that's the sport. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Join us from November 16th to 19th, 2017 for the Barbados Food and Rum Festival, where acclaimed Barbadian chefs and mixologists are joined by Chef Jean-Georges of the U.S., Chef Tom Akins of the U.K., Chef Chris De La Rosa of Canada to create dining experiences to delight the senses. Visit GoingPlacesTravel.com to book your packages and visit www.foodandrum.com for more information.
Grow your business or promote your event through the services offered by the Caribbean Media Corporation and CaribVision. Our distribution provides a platform on cable, terrestrial television, and websites. We cover carnivals and events from across the region. We can bring your event live and alive to the world. For music makers, program producers, businesses, we can expand your reach to in excess of 2 million households daily. Our other services include news updates to enhance your media products, studio space for program and development. We can facilitate the launch of new products and services and training. Contact us and we will help you unleash your creative ability, develop products and services, and provide the medium to watch them grow. Contact Loretta Skeet at cmccaribbean.com or call her 1-246-467-1044 or 1-246-253-3889. Call and book your carnival or event today. Again, the major developments of this day: security forces in Jamaica get special powers to fight crime in Denham Town. That's a problem area in the island's capital. And in sport, former West Indies wicketkeeper Dennis Ramden to lead Trinidad and Tobago Red Force in the Professional Cricket League. That's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sport around the clock, log on to CarnaNews.com. We'll be back here again tomorrow. But from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching. Do have yourselves a good night.